The Automatic Wealth System. How to Build Passive Income Streams That Work for You. Written by Ronnie Rowland. Published by Growth Literacy Lounge. Don't wish it were easier, wish you were better. Don't wish for less problems, wish for more skills. Jim Rohn. There's a moment, usually quiet, usually private, when you realize the way you've been taught to earn money isn't working anymore. Maybe it hits after your third promotion, when you're still living paycheck to paycheck. Maybe it shows up in a calendar packed with meetings, but empty of meaning. Or maybe it's that aching feeling that, no matter how hard you work, your time is never truly your own. You're not alone. Ullian. Most people live inside a system they never questioned, one where income is tied to effort, and freedom is delayed for someday. But what if that system is broken? And what if there's another one that rewards strategy over sacrifice, consistency over chaos, and structure over stress? This book is about that better system. The Automatic Wealth System is not a get-rich-quick scheme. It's not about chasing trends or gaming algorithms. It's about building income streams that earn while you live, systems that work quietly, reliably, and repeatedly, even when you're not working. It's about creating something once and letting it serve you for years. Whether it's a digital product, a rental property, a dividend portfolio, or a fully automated business, the core idea is the same: stop trading time for money. Start building machines that generate value. If you've ever felt burned out, underpaid, or stuck in the cycle of earn and spend, this is your blueprint for breaking free. We're not here to talk theory, we're here to take action. Each chapter gives you practical steps, real-world examples, and honest insight into what it takes to build lasting wealth on your terms. You don't need to be wealthy to start. You just need to start with what you have and be willing to build. The moment you decide to stop working for money and start making it work for you, everything changes. You don't need more hours in the day. You need a better system. Let's build it together. Chapter 1. The Paycheck Trap and Why You Must Escape It. You wake up, rush through your morning, clock in, power through meetings, emails, and obligations, only to do it all again tomorrow. You tell yourself it's just the way life works: earn, spend, repeat. But deep down, there's a quiet voice that wonders, is this really it? We've all been taught that the path to security is a steady paycheck. Go to school, get a job, climb the ladder. But what no one tells you is this: a paycheck is the most dangerous form of income because it feels safe while keeping you stuck. It ties your time directly to your money. Stop working, and the money stops too. It's not just a trap, it's a treadmill. You run hard, but you never move forward. I learned this lesson the hard way. My friend Marcus had a 6-figure job in finance. From the outside, he had made it: the corner office, the tailored suits, the corporate perks. But one day his company restructured, and just like that, his income vanished. No warning, no severance worth mentioning. Just a polite goodbye and a cardboard box. He had no other streams of income, no backup, no freedom. That day he realized he wasn't secure, he was exposed. This is where the illusion cracks. Real security doesn't come from a job. It comes from control. When you build income that flows whether you show up or not, that's freedom, that's leverage. That's wealth. Passive income isn't just a buzzword, it's the key to escaping the cycle. But let's be honest, passive income is rarely passive in the beginning. You don't just click a button and watch dollars rain down. You build, you plant, you nurture, and then over time the fruit comes. Slowly at first, then steadily, then, if you've done it right, predictably. Think about it like this: if your paycheck is a faucet, you're constantly turning it on and off with your effort. But passive income? That's the pipe system beneath the surface. You install it once, and it keeps flowing. Sure, you may need to maintain it occasionally, but you're no longer trapped in the same room, holding the handle. So why doesn't everyone do this? Because most people are so busy earning money, they never stop to build systems that generate money. It's not their fault. The system trains us to be workers, not owners. But now that you see the pattern, you have a choice. You can stay on the treadmill, or you can step off and start building something that works for you, even while you sleep. You don't need to quit your job tomorrow, or launch $1 million product next week. You just need to start. One small income stream, one shift in mindset. One intentional decision to build, not just earn, That's how the escape begins. In the chapters ahead, we're going to map it out together. I'll show you what to build, how to build it, and how to let it run with minimal input. We'll talk about digital products, rental properties, dividend stocks, and other vehicles for wealth. But more importantly, we'll talk about the mindset and systems behind them. Because once you stop thinking like an employee and start thinking like an architect, everything changes. This is your invitation. Not just to make more money, but to make money differently, on your terms, with your values, for your freedom. You've already taken the most important step, you're here. Now let's keep going. A paycheck feels safe, but it's not freedom. Real wealth comes from building income that works without your constant effort. Where in your life are you trading time for money, and what would change if you weren't? Write down one skill, idea, or asset you have that could earn money without you being present. No filter, just brainstorm. Chapter 2. The Myth of Passive Income. Let's clear something up right now. Passive income is not effortless income. Somewhere along the way, the idea got warped. Social media made it look like you could open a laptop, click a few buttons, and wake up rich. A guy in a Lamborghini tells you he made $50,000 in his sleep, and suddenly everyone's chasing shortcuts. But here's the truth no one likes to admit: passive income takes serious work up front. You and I both know there's no magic button. What looks passive from the outside is usually the result of planning, building, testing, failing, and adjusting behind the scenes. That ebook that makes someone $5,000 a month. They probably spent weeks writing, months marketing, and years learning how to convert readers into buyers. That Airbnb host earning thousands on autopilot? They had to buy the property, furnish it, build systems, deal with guests, and hire cleaners. It's a machine, but machines don't build themselves. I'm telling you this not to discourage you, but to equip you. If you go into this expecting it to be easy, you'll quit the first time it's hard. But if you expect it to be front-loaded effort now, freedom later, then you're prepared for the real path. Passive income is like building a well. You dig deep, hit rock, keep going, and eventually find water. Once the system is in place, the water flows with minimal maintenance. But you have to earn that flow. A friend of mine, Alina, created a digital course on photography. For months she worked nights after her day job, researching platforms, scripting lessons, recording videos, setting up the website. Her launch? Crickets. Barely 5 signups. She almost gave up, but instead of quitting, she improved her offer, ran a few Facebook ads, and slowly found her audience. 2 years later, she's earning more from that course each month than she ever did at her old job, and it runs without her lifting a finger. But it didn't start passive, it became passive. This is where mindset matters. You have to shift from easy money thinking to engine building thinking. You're not looking for hacks. You're building a system, a series of cogs that, once aligned, turn with their own momentum. That's what passive income really is. It's earned ease. And it's entirely possible, but only if you respect the process. Most people never get there because they get seduced by the myth. They try something once, don't get instant results, and declare that it doesn't work. What they don't realize is they stopped digging 3 feet from gold. The gold wasn't the problem. The quitting was. So let's you and I make a deal right now. We're not chasing hype. We're building something real. We're going to put in the early sweat, the quiet hours, the small risks. We're going to stay focused on systems, not sprints. That's how you build income that truly frees you, not just financially, but mentally and emotionally. Here's the real irony. Once you stop chasing easy, things actually get easier. You stop bouncing from shiny object to shiny object. You start finishing what you start. You build resilience, clarity, and momentum. And before long, the income starts to arrive, not in a flashy explosion, but in steady, quiet streams that change your life. And when that first dollar hits your account while you're on a walk, reading a book, or sleeping, that's when it all clicks. That's the moment you realize, this works. Not because it was fast, but because it was intentional. So no, passive income isn't passive at first, but that's exactly what makes it so powerful. You work once. You get paid over and over. Passive income requires active effort up front, but the reward is a system that pays you long after the work is done. What's one area of your life where you expected results too quickly, And what would have changed if you'd stuck with it longer? Choose one passive income idea you've heard about recently and research the real effort behind it. Take notes, not shortcuts. Chapter 3. Build your wealth engine. The power of systems over hustle. Imagine a bicycle. You pedal hard, gain speed, but the moment you stop moving your legs, the momentum fades. Now picture a conveyor belt powered by an engine. Once it's on, it just keeps running. That's the difference between hustle and systems. One depends on your constant effort. The other works without you. We've been sold a dangerous idea, that working harder is the way to get ahead. But hustle, by itself, is a hamster wheel. It's exhausting. It's endless. And it only pays when you keep moving. Systems, on the other hand, create something much more valuable: leverage. They let you separate your time from your income. They let you build once and benefit repeatedly. Let's get specific. A system is simply a process that produces a result without needing your ongoing presence. An online course that runs on autopilot, a rental property managed by a team, a dividend-paying portfolio that reinvests itself, a content funnel that brings customers to a product while you sleep. These aren't dreams. These are systems, and systems are how wealth is built. Think about how businesses work. The owner isn't baking every loaf or packing every box. They've created processes, trained people, and put tools in place so that value gets delivered, whether they show up or not. You're not just building income streams here, you're building your own mini business models. Each one is a self-sustaining engine that runs with limited oversight. It might need oiling now and then, sure. But it doesn't need your hand on the wheel every hour of the day. And here's the kicker: systems aren't just for the tech-savvy or the wealthy. Anyone can build one. Start with what you do already. Do you freelance? Create a repeatable workflow and template it. Turn a solution you offer into a digital product. Record yourself teaching something once and use it forever. Automate your invoicing. Schedule your marketing. Set up recurring emails. The less you have to manually repeat, the more time you free up to build the next part of your machine. When I first started thinking this way, everything changed. I was tired of trading hours for dollars. So I looked at the things I did repeatedly: writing, teaching, consulting, and asked myself, how can I do this once and use it many times? That question became a habit. I recorded a simple course on productivity, launched it to my email list, and didn't touch it again for a month. It made sales while I worked on other things. That was my first system. It was small, clunky, imperfect. But it worked, and it lit a fire. Systems compound. One leads to another. As your income becomes less dependent on you, you gain the time and clarity to build more. Eventually, your role becomes one of oversight, strategy, and creation, not execution. You move from worker to architect. And that's when the real shift happens. That's when your wealth becomes automatic. But don't get stuck trying to build the perfect system out of the gate. Perfection is the enemy of progress. Start simple. Start ugly. Improve as you go. A messy system that works is better than a perfect one that lives only in your head. So here's your new goal: stop thinking like a worker. Start thinking like a builder. Don't just ask, how do I make more money? Ask, how do I make money without needing to be there every step? That's how the automatic wealth system begins, one small, intentional engine at a time. Wealth doesn't come from working more, it comes from building systems that work without you. What is one thing you do repeatedly that could be automated, delegated, or turned into a product? Identify one repeatable task in your life or business. Write down 3 ways you could systematize or automate it this week. Chapter 4. Start where you are, your first income stream. The biggest lie in passive income is that you have to be rich to start. You don't. You just have to start smart. Not with a 6-figure investment or a perfect plan, but with what you already have: your skills, your ideas, your time, your connections. We don't wait until we have money to build passive income. We build passive income so we no longer depend solely on money we earn. Take Lauren, a single mom working 2 jobs. She didn't have extra cash lying around. But she did have experience tutoring high school students in math. One night, while helping her daughter study, she realized she could record short explainer videos on algebra and package them as a mini course. She filmed them with her phone, uploaded them to a course platform, and offered them through a local parent group on Facebook. The first month, she made $300, not life-changing, but it was money she earned while sleeping. That was the spark. It's easy to get overwhelmed by all the possibilities: real estate, dropshipping, digital products, investing. You start researching and suddenly feel paralyzed. Too many choices, too many steps, too much risk. That's why you need to block out the noise and focus on just one income stream. One idea, one path, not forever, just for now. You're not building the whole machine today, you're installing the first gear. Your first income stream should be simple, affordable, and connected to something you already know or care about. If you enjoy writing, consider an ebook or newsletter with paid subscribers. If you've learned a valuable skill, coding, cooking, graphic design, you can teach it. If you have a spare room or property, short-term rentals could work. If you enjoy investing, start with dividend-paying stocks using a small, consistent contribution. The key isn't which one you pick, it's that you pick one. Momentum is more important than mastery. When you start, you don't need to know everything. You just need to know enough to take action. The rest you'll learn by doing. And when that first dollar shows up, when you see income that came without clocking in, that moment is fuel. It proves this is real. It rewires your brain to believe. A friend of mine, Devon, launched a small Shopify store selling niche hiking gear. His first product? A custom-designed trail journal. It cost him $75 to set up. He wrote the content himself, used a print-on-demand service, and promoted it through a subreddit he was already active in. The first month was slow. The second, steady. By month 4, he was clearing $600 a month on autopilot. It didn't start big, but it started, and now he's got 3 products and a small team helping him scale. The secret to building your first stream is giving yourself permission to start small. This isn't about replacing your job tomorrow. It's about creating proof of concept. You're planting a seed, water it, learn from it. Then grow another. Before long, your income starts to diversify. You feel lighter, more in control, less reactive. That's the real wealth. If you're still unsure where to begin, just ask, what do people already come to me for? What do I enjoy doing that others find hard? What knowledge or experience could I turn into a simple product or service? You're closer than you think. You don't need more resources. You need more resourcefulness. So don't wait until it's perfect. Pick one idea, make a small plan. Launch something imperfect. Learn. Adjust. Repeat. That's how your first stream becomes your first win, and the start of your freedom. The best way to begin building passive income is to start where you are, with one small, imperfect idea that builds momentum. What's one skill, asset, or interest you could turn into your first passive income stream? Write down 3 passive income ideas you could realistically explore within the next 30 days. Choose one to begin. Chapter 5. The tree you plant once, assets that pay you back. Picture a tree. You dig the hole, plant the seed, water it, protect it, and wait. For weeks, maybe months, it seems like nothing's happening. But beneath the surface, roots are forming. One day it breaks through. Years later, it's providing shade, fruit, and beauty, long after the initial work is done. That's what passive income assets are like. You build them once. They feed you for years. The biggest shift you can make is moving from thinking in terms of income to thinking in terms of assets. An income is what you earn. An asset is what you own, and what earns for you. Most people are obsessed with making money. Wealthy people focus on owning the machines that make money. The difference is night and day. Let's get practical. An asset, in this context, is anything that generates value without needing constant input. A rental property that cash flows each month. A digital product that sells while you sleep. A stock portfolio that pays dividends. A YouTube channel with monetized videos. A piece of software that customers subscribe to. These things don't just make you money once, they keep giving. Like trees, they have seasons of planting, growth, and harvest. The reason this matters is because time is limited. You can only work so many hours. But assets don't sleep. Assets don't take sick days. Assets don't burn out. When you own an asset, you've multiplied yourself. You've created a little worker that shows up even when you don't. I met a guy named Raj who understood this principle early. He was an IT professional who, instead of spending his bonus on a new car, bought a duplex. He lived in one unit and rented the other. That one move covered his mortgage. A few years later, he repeated it. Now, with 6 doors under his name, he brings in steady monthly cash flow. He still works, but now, work is optional. His trees are bearing fruit. But it doesn't have to be real estate. Sometimes your best asset is your knowledge. My friend Kira built a wedding planning checklist and sold it on Etsy. One $12 download at a time. She started stacking sales. Then she created a wedding budget spreadsheet. Then a guide. Before long, she had a library of products. Same work up front. Same assets. Ongoing return. You don't have to be a genius to build assets. You just have to commit to building instead of endlessly working. The reason most people never create these income sources is because they chase quick money instead of long-term value. They choose the fast dollar over the fruitful tree. But what if you chose to plant something instead? The key is choosing an asset that fits your strengths and your stage. If you've got capital, maybe it's buying property or dividend stocks. If you've got skills, maybe it's creating a course or writing a guide. If you've got time, maybe it's building a content-based channel. The goal is the same: build something once that keeps giving. And yes, some trees fail. Not every idea works, but every attempt teaches you. And every lesson brings you closer to the next win. You don't need one perfect tree, you need a forest of imperfect but productive ones. So today, ask yourself, what can I build once that keeps delivering? What can I create, own, or launch that won't require me every day? Then, plant it, protect it, nurture it. Because when the fruit comes, you'll be glad you did. Assets are the engines of passive income. Create things once that pay you repeatedly. What asset could you begin building today that would generate value without your constant involvement? Choose one idea, product, investment, or property, and map out the first 3 steps to begin turning it into a long-term asset. Chapter 6. Buying time. Automate, delegate, eliminate. Time is your most limited asset. You can always make more money, but once an hour is gone, it's gone forever. That's why the goal of building passive income isn't just about stacking dollars, it's about buying back your time. And to do that, you need to stop doing everything yourself. You need to automate what you can, delegate what you shouldn't be doing, and eliminate what no longer serves your goals. Most people stay broke not because they aren't working hard, but because they're working on the wrong things. They spend hours on tasks that could be handled by a simple tool or outsourced for a few dollars. They treat busyness as productivity and mistake effort for effectiveness. But when you look at anyone who's built real wealth, you'll find they've mastered one thing: leverage. They've learned to do less and accomplish more, not by cutting corners, but by building smarter. Automation is your first line of defense. It's how you let technology do the heavy lifting. Email sequences that nurture customers automatically. Bank transfers that move money into your investments without you thinking about it. Scheduling tools that book appointments or manage your calendar. One setup, many uses. That's the magic. Even something as small as an automatic bill pay system frees mental space and reduces the number of decisions you have to make. And less decision fatigue means more energy for big moves. Delegation is the next level. You're not just using tools, you're using people. But delegation isn't just about hiring a team. It starts small. Maybe you pay someone to edit your videos, design a cover, handle customer service emails. At first it may feel like a luxury. But it's not, it's a necessity. Every hour you spend on something that someone else can do for less than your hourly value is an hour you're losing. If you're building a business, you need to be the strategist, not the customer service rep, graphic designer, or social media scheduler. I remember the first time I hired someone to help with my course platform. I hesitated. It felt like an expense. But within days the site was smoother, the customer experience improved, and I had hours of time back to work on my next product. That decision paid for itself 10 times over. And it taught me something vital: buying time is the smartest investment you'll ever make. And then there's elimination. This one's the most overlooked. Not everything needs to be optimized or outsourced. Some things just need to go. Meetings that waste your time, projects that don't align with your goals, apps, subscriptions, or habits that drain your attention. The more noise you eliminate, the more clearly you can hear what matters. Simplifying is a growth strategy. Here's the shift: instead of asking, "How can I do this?" start asking, "How can this get done without me?" That single question reframes your role. You're not the worker. You're the architect. You're building a machine that runs on its own momentum, not on your exhaustion. That's where freedom lives. Buying time doesn't mean you stop working. It means you stop wasting your effort on the wrong things. It gives you space to think, create, rest, and scale. It gives you options. And ultimately, it gives you a life that feels lighter, clearer, and more intentional. So look at your week. What are you doing that could be automated? What could be handed off? What could be deleted entirely? Your income streams will only grow as fast as your capacity does, and capacity is built by reclaiming your time. Buying back your time through automation, delegation, and elimination creates the space you need to scale wealth and live freely. What's one task you're currently doing that someone or something else could handle? Choose one small task this week to automate, delegate, or eliminate. Free up that time and reinvest it into building your next income stream. Chapter 7. From one stream to many. Building your wealth portfolio. It starts with one idea, one income stream. One moment where you realize, I can earn without trading my time. That's the breakthrough. But true wealth doesn't come from a single stream, it comes from a portfolio. A group of income sources working together, like gears in a machine. When one slows down, another picks up. When one thrives, the others follow. That's how you build financial resilience, not just freedom. Think of income streams like legs on a table. One leg is fragile. 2 are better. 3 or more. Now you've got stability. The beauty of passive income is that you don't have to scale all at once. You can build one stream, let it run, then use the time and capital it creates to build the next. That's how momentum turns into multiplication. When I started, my first stream was a simple ebook. I priced it at $9 and sold it through my blog. At first, it made a few dollars a week. Then I added a video course. Then affiliate links for tools I genuinely used. Eventually, those turned into workshops, then licensing deals. None of it happened overnight. But each stream was a stepping stone to the next. The key isn't complexity, it's strategy. You don't need 10 streams right now. You need to think about how each new stream complements what you've already built. If you have a YouTube channel, can you add a paid membership? If you sell a digital product, can you bundle it with another or create a higher ticket version? If you own rental property, can you refinance and acquire another unit? Growth isn't just about new ideas, it's about squeezing more value from what you've already done. You also need to pay attention to balance. Not all streams are equal. Some will be high maintenance but high reward. Others might be low touch but slower to grow. That's okay. Diversity is the point. A mix of assets, digital, physical, and financial, gives you options and flexibility. And when life shifts, as it always does, your income won't collapse. It'll bend, not break. A friend of mine, Jennifer, started by selling printables on Etsy. Over time, she added a blog where she shared tutorials. Then she created a course teaching others how to launch printable shops. She monetized the blog with ads, launched a newsletter, and included affiliate links. Each piece fed the next. None of them were massive alone, but together, they built a 6-figure system. And now, most of it runs with minimal input. What separates people who build multiple streams from those who don't isn't brilliance, it's commitment. It's the willingness to reinvest energy in earnings instead of coasting. Too many people stop after their first taste of passive income. But if you're willing to go deeper, not just wider, the results compound fast. Remember, your time is still a resource, but now you have more control over how to use it. You can experiment, explore, and expand. Every stream you add becomes another step toward freedom. And as your portfolio grows, something powerful happens. You begin to own your life, not just rent it in exchange for a paycheck. So don't stop at one. Let it be your foundation. Then look around and ask, what's next? What builds on this? What excites me now that I'm no longer stuck in survival mode? That's how you scale. That's how you build wealth that lasts. Wealth grows when you stack multiple income streams, Start with one, master it, then use it to build the next. What's the next logical stream you could build based on what you've already created or learned? Write down 3 potential passive income streams that would complement your current or planned assets. Choose one to begin exploring this month. Chapter 8. Money that multiplies. Reinvest, don't just spend. The first time you earn money passively, it feels like magic. A sale while you sleep, a payout from a rental, a dividend in your account. It's tempting to celebrate by spending it. You've earned it, right? But here's the truth. What you do with that first dollar sets the tone for everything that follows. Spend it, and it's gone. Reinvest it, and it multiplies. This is the point where most people sabotage their momentum. They finally taste a little success, then treat it like a windfall. They buy new gear, upgrade the car, splurge on lifestyle. But wealth isn't built on what you earn, it's built on what you keep and reinvest. Every dollar you pull out is a worker you've taken off the job. But every dollar you reinvest is an employee that goes out and hires more employees. Think of your passive income like seeds. You can eat the harvest, or you can plant some of it back into the ground. The more you plant, the more your forest grows. The more you spend, the more you shrink the potential of what you're building. Reinvesting isn't about deprivation. It's about acceleration. It's how you go from one income stream to a sustainable system that runs itself. A friend of mine, Theo, launched a simple ebook and made $2,000 in his first month. He could have used it to take a trip or pay off some debt. Instead, he spent $500 on Facebook ads, $300 on a freelance designer to upgrade the cover, and used the rest to build a second product for the same audience. Within 6 months, he was earning $4,000 a month, consistently. The ebook wasn't the success story, the reinvestment was. Reinvesting isn't just about money, it's also about time, tools, and skills. Maybe you use your earnings to buy software that saves hours each week. Or maybe you hire a virtual assistant to take over customer service. Maybe you enroll in a course that teaches you how to scale your business. Every smart reinvestment removes a bottleneck. It expands your capacity to grow. Of course, some people hesitate. What if the reinvestment doesn't work? What if it's a waste? Those are fair fears. But here's the perspective shift. Every reinvestment is a vote for the future. It's a sign that you're not just collecting checks, you're building something bigger than a single sale. Even when it doesn't pay off immediately, it teaches you, and those lessons compound. This mindset creates a flywheel effect. The more you earn, the more you can reinvest. The more you reinvest, the faster your streams grow. And eventually, the system becomes self-sustaining. You're no longer using your time or money to expand. It's the system feeding itself. That's real freedom. That's when the machine hums. The trap is thinking you're done after your first win, but you're not done. You're just getting started. Passive income gives you the leverage, reinvestment gives you the scale, and scale is what turns a few $100s a month into real, lasting wealth. So don't fall for the temptation to consume every win. Celebrate, yes, but channel your excitement into growth. Ask yourself, how can this dollar create more dollars? How can this win create a bigger win? That's how you build a future that pays you over and over again. Passive income multiplies when you reinvest your earnings into tools, skills, assets, and growth. How have you used past income or profits, and what would change if you saw each dollar as a future employee? Look at your current or expected passive income. Choose one reinvestment you can make this month to increase long-term growth. Chapter 9. The Boring Millionaire. Why consistency beats excitement. Everyone loves the big win. The overnight success story, the viral product, the shocking windfall. But here's the truth the hype rarely tells you. Most wealthy people didn't get rich quickly. They got rich quietly. Their success wasn't loud or flashy. It was methodical, intentional, and yes, boring. The real magic isn't in dramatic moves. It's in doing the right things over and over without stopping. You don't need to be brilliant. You need to be consistent. That's the hardest part, because consistency isn't glamorous. It's not what goes viral. It's not what gets retweeted, but it's what builds wealth. When you commit to small actions repeated over time, automating savings, publishing content, reinvesting profits, showing up even when you don't feel like it, you create momentum that doesn't depend on motivation. I know a guy named Aaron who's quietly built 7 income streams over the past decade. None of them were extraordinary on their own. He started with a small blog. Then he added a niche podcast. Later, he built a digital product. Next, an affiliate site. Eventually, he invested in dividend-paying ETFs and 2 short-term rental properties. There were no headlines, no big wins, but every year, his income climbed steadily. Today, his passive earnings exceed what he ever made at his old job, and he works half as much. His secret? Boring consistency. The danger of chasing excitement is that it creates addiction to novelty. You get hooked on new ideas instead of sticking with proven ones. You switch strategies every few weeks. You jump from passive income stream to stream without giving anything time to grow, and growth takes time. A tree doesn't sprout fruit the day after it's planted, but give it a few seasons, and it feeds you for life. It's also easy to get discouraged during the boring phases, when the YouTube channel hasn't taken off yet, when the Etsy store makes 1 sale a week, when your blog has 5 readers. But those quiet stretches are where your systems mature. That's when the groundwork is laid for what's coming. Most people quit too early, not because the idea didn't work, but because they got tired of waiting. Consistency also builds trust. Your audience, your customers, your systems, they all respond to steady presence. When you keep showing up, even when the results are small, people notice. Algorithms reward it. Readers return. Sales build. Confidence compounds. And before long, you look around and realize the boring thing became the breakthrough. But let's be real, staying consistent isn't always easy. It requires discipline and clarity. You need to know why you're doing what you're doing. If your goal is just more money, it's easy to burn out. But if your goal is freedom, time, legacy, that's the fuel that keeps you going when progress feels slow. So here's the invitation: embrace the boring, automate what you can. Stick with the stream you started, improve it slowly. Track your wins, even if they're small, let the compounding do its job. Because one day the results will no longer be small, and the world will wonder how you did it. The answer? You didn't chase excitement, you mastered consistency. The real path to wealth isn't flashy, it's consistent, repeatable actions done over time. Where in your life or business have you abandoned something too early, and what might have happened if you'd stuck with it longer? Choose one passive income project and commit to working on it for 30 minutes a day for the next 30 days, no skipping, no switching. Chapter 10. Avoiding the traps. Scams, shiny objects, and snake oil. The moment you search passive income online, you step into a minefield. The promise of easy money attracts everyone, including the scammers, the schemers, and the hype merchants. Suddenly your feed is filled with people showing off luxury cars and selling $1,000 courses on how they got rich with zero effort. It's tempting. But it's also dangerous, because behind most of those big claims is a very different reality. Not everything that glitters is gold. Some of it is fool's gold, meant to dazzle, distract, and drain your wallet. If you're not careful, you can waste months chasing empty promises, or worse, lose money you can't afford to lose. That's why one of the most valuable skills in building passive income is learning to filter signal from noise. Knowing what's real, what's risky, and what's just a dressed-up illusion. A good rule of thumb: if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Passive income is powerful, but it's not magic. Real systems take time to build. They require effort, strategy, and patience. So when someone says you can make $10,000 this weekend with no experience, no product, and no work run, that's not opportunity, that's bait. Scams come in many forms. Some are blatant, like fake investment platforms or pyramid schemes dressed as affiliate marketing. Others are subtler. Overpriced courses that promise everything but deliver little. Communities that charge you to access secrets that are freely available online. Tools that require monthly fees but provide no real value. The hustle culture loves to sell dreams, but your job is to stay rooted in reality. I once spoke with a guy named Leon who dropped $5,000 on a crypto mining opportunity that promised monthly payouts. He never saw a dime. The company vanished, and so did his money. No product, no accountability, just slick marketing and a moment of desperation. He didn't fail because he lacked effort, he failed because he trusted the wrong system, and that's a painful but common story. So, how do you protect yourself? Start with skepticism, not cynicism. Don't assume everything is a scam, but don't take things at face value either. Ask questions. Who's behind this? What's their track record? Is the opportunity backed by a real product or asset? Are results verifiable? Or just testimonials and hype? Transparency is a green flag. Vague promises are a red one. Also, beware the shiny object syndrome. Not every bad opportunity is a scam. Some are just distractions. A business model that worked for someone else might not fit your skills, goals, or lifestyle. Just because it worked doesn't mean it will work for you. And every time you pivot to chase the next thing, you lose time and energy that could have been spent refining what you've already started. Focus beats frenzy. When you commit to a strategy, you gain depth, you build skill. You make smarter decisions. But when you bounce from idea to idea, you stay in perpetual beginner mode, always learning, never earning. The truth is, there are incredible opportunities out there. There are people creating real value, teaching useful strategies, building ethical products, but they're usually not the loudest ones. They don't need to shout. Their work speaks for itself. So build slowly. Vet everything. Be cautious with your money and ruthless with your time. And remember, your goal isn't fast cash, it's freedom. That comes from real work, real systems, and real wisdom. Not every opportunity is legit. Focus on proven systems, do your homework, and avoid the trap of chasing hype. What's one opportunity you've considered that now seems questionable, and what would you ask differently next time? Identify a source of advice, content, or community you follow. Evaluate whether it's helping you build or just selling you dreams. Chapter 11. Living on your terms, designing your ideal day. What's all this for? The late nights, the systems, the investments, the learning curves. What's the point if you're still living a life you don't love? Passive income is not just about money, it's about choice. The choice to design your life around what matters to you. The ability to wake up and decide how you'll spend your time, not based on bills or a boss, but on values, purpose, and joy. Most people never think about their ideal day. They think about retirement, someday down the line maybe. But the real power of this journey isn't decades away. It's in the daily freedom you begin to build. The small wins that add up to a life that actually feels like yours. Because when your income no longer depends on your time becomes your own again, and that changes everything. It starts with imagination. If I asked you right now to describe your perfect day, not a vacation, but a normal Tuesday, could you? Where would you wake up? What would you do in the morning? Who would you spend time with? What work, if any, would you choose to do? Most of us have vague ideas of what we don't want. Fewer have a clear vision of what we do. But clarity creates direction. When you know what you want your life to look like, you can reverse engineer the income systems to support it. Maybe you want mornings to yourself and work that happens in the afternoon. Maybe you want to travel more. Maybe you want to homeschool your kids or pursue a creative dream without worrying about money. All of that becomes possible when your income is no longer chained to your hours. I worked with a client named Jenna who had built a successful coaching practice but felt trapped by her calendar. Every hour was booked. Her income was great, but her energy was gone. So we sat down and designed her ideal week. It included long walks, slow mornings, and only 2 days of client work. Then we restructured her offer into a group program, added a self-paced course, and introduced a newsletter with affiliate links. Within 6 months, she was earning more and working half as much. That's the power of alignment. Passive income isn't about doing nothing. It's about choosing what to do. And that choice often leads to better, deeper work. When you're not stressed or scattered, you can create from a place of intention. You can say no to things that drain you and yes to things that light you up. That's when your best ideas come. That's when your relationships thrive. That's when your life starts to feel full. The goal is not to be idle. The goal is to be in control. To wake up and know you're spending your life, your minutes, on what matters to you. Money is just the tool. Freedom is the result, and freedom isn't just about quitting your job or traveling the world. Sometimes it's as simple as being home for dinner, reading more, or working on something that excites you without worrying whether it'll pay the bills. So ask yourself, honestly, What does your ideal day look like? Not 10 years from now, next month, next season, next phase. What small changes could you make if one income stream covered a key expense? What bigger shifts could you plan for as your portfolio grows? Because that's the point of all this. Not just wealth, but a life you actually want to live. Passive income isn't just financial freedom, it's the freedom to design a life that aligns with your values and vision. If money weren't the main factor, how would you spend your ideal day? Write out your ideal day in detail. Then identify one change you could make now to move closer to it. Chapter 12. Your Wealth Machine in Motion. What to do next. You've done something most people never do, you've seen behind the curtain. You now understand that wealth isn't about luck or hustle. It's about systems. It's about making intentional decisions, one step at a time, to shift your income from active to automatic. And here's the best part, you don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to keep moving forward. By now you've learned that passive income is built, not found. You've seen how it starts with one small stream, how it expands with consistency, and how reinvestment multiplies your results. You've explored the difference between income and assets, effort and leverage, busyness and strategy. And if you've taken even one action, just one, you've already started your machine. But what now? What's the next step once you've planted the seeds and started to see early signs of growth? The answer is simple: refine, expand, and sustain. Your wealth machine is no longer just an idea. It's real. But like any machine, it needs attention, maintenance, and upgrades over time. The good news? Most of that effort is front-loaded. From here on out, your job isn't to hustle harder, it's to think smarter. Start by reviewing what's working. Which income streams are gaining traction? Which systems are running smoothly? And which still depend too much on your time? Look for bottlenecks. Is there something you're still doing manually that could be automated or outsourced? Are you responding to every customer email when a help desk or FAQ could free you up? Small optimizations lead to big gains over time. Next, double down on reinvestment. Don't fall into the trap of comfort. The moment your first stream starts to earn, it's easy to relax, but this is the most powerful moment for growth. Use that income to launch the second stream. Use the second to fund the third. Keep stacking until you've built a true portfolio, one that supports your lifestyle and insulates you from risk. Then comes sustainability. That's where your mindset shifts again, from builder to steward. You're not chasing anymore, you're maintaining, you're measuring, you're tweaking, you're creating space for creativity and vision, and maybe now, you're helping others do the same. The most fulfilling part of this journey is not just freedom for yourself, it's helping others build theirs too. I've seen this transformation happen again and again. People who once felt stuck in the grind now travel more, rest more, give more. They wake up with options. They build from a place of peace, not pressure. They make decisions based on vision, not urgency. And it all started with one choice: to stop working for money and start building something that works for them. You're there now. You've built momentum, you've shifted your thinking, you've laid the foundation, and even if your machine is still small, even if it's still a little clunky, it's moving, and that means everything. So keep going. Track your progress, celebrate the small wins. Make a habit of checking in every month. What's growing? What needs attention? What can be improved or simplified? Your wealth machine is alive. Treat it like something valuable, because it is. And when life throws curveballs, as it always does, you'll have stability. You won't panic. You'll adjust. Because you've built more than income. You've built infrastructure, you've built autonomy, you've built a life. Your wealth machine is already in motion, now focus on refining it, reinvesting into it, and sustaining it long term. What's one habit you can build to stay aligned with your passive income goals over the next year? Schedule a monthly check-in with yourself. Review your income streams. Identify one area to improve, and take one small action toward growth. Take care and be well.